The world had become a constant hum of notifications for me. A relentless symphony of demands, all controlled by this tiny, glowing rectangle in my hand. Every single ping, every vibrate, a direct command. I prided myself on being in control, on mastering the digital chaos. My apartment, like my life, was meticulously organized. A minimalist fortress built to protect me from the overwhelming disorder of the world. Late nights were common. My laptop glowed, reflecting my focused, exhausted eyes. Another email, another task. The city lights outside blurred into a distant, indifferent glow. But then came a moment of quiet, a rare, precious silence. I finally allowed myself to breathe, putting my phone down just for a second. And then it came. A vibration. A unique, singular pulse. There was no sound, just the distinct hum. I picked up my phone. No new message, no email, nothing at all. It was just a fleeting puzzle. I swiped away the blank notification, dismissing it as a random glitch. Just a quirk of the technology. I told myself the exhaustion was getting to me, making me imagine things. But the next night, it happened again. Exactly the same time. The same silent vibration. Again, nothing on the screen. A cold shiver, not of fear, but of profound unease traced its way up my spine. A quick search online offered no help. Phantom phone vibrations. Apparently a common phenomenon. My rational mind desperately clung to that simple explanation, even as my gut twisted in protest. I tried to simply not check, to ignore the feeling. But the vibration, though silent, felt deafening. A persistent, undeniable summons from the device. My hand moved without any conscious thought, compelled. Again, the blank screen. But this time, my reflection in the dark glass seemed off. It flickered. A slight tremor ran through my hands. The pristine surface of my coffee table, reflecting the phone's glow, seemed to warp for a split second, then snapped back to normal. I tried to record it, setting up my phone to film. I waited, holding my breath. Nothing. The very second I stopped recording, it vibrated again. A silent taunt. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford. My intelligent green eyes, once sharp and clear, were now shadowed. Every sound in my silent apartment made me jump. The routine of checking, of seeing the endless blank screen, began to feel like a ritual. A twisted daily prayer to a god that wouldn't answer. The soft glow of my phone, usually a comfort, now felt like a predatory eye. I needed to understand. The vibration came. This time, as I picked up the phone, a single light in my apartment, the minimalist floor lamp, subtly flickered. Just once. Then returned to a steady glow. My heart hammered in my chest. A coincidence? Or was it truly connected? My gaze lingered on the lamp, a growing suspicion blooming in my mind. I tried to dismiss it, to rationalize. Old wiring, tired eyes. But the dread was a growing knot in my stomach. The next night, the vibration. This time, as I looked up, a framed piece of abstract art on my wall subtly distorted. Its colors bled, its lines warped. When I blinked, it was perfect again.
Oh.
You're imagining things, Alara, I whispered, my voice trembling. I took a screenshot of the blank notification, then deleted it. But the act felt hollow. The notification wasn't really on my phone. It was from it. My carefully curated apartment, my sanctuary, now felt compromised. Every clean line, every muted tone held a hint of something wrong. I tried to factory reset my phone, wiped everything. For a moment, I felt a profound sense of relief. It was over. Then, at the exact same time, the phone vibrated. The phantom notification. Completely untouched crushed by the reset. My control was an illusion. My reflection in the dark screen of my now reset phone showed a single tear tracing a path down my cheek. My eyes were wide, haunted. The silence of my apartment, once peaceful, now felt heavy, expectant, waiting for the next digital summons. I started seeing phantom glares in the corners of my vision, a pixelated smear across a book, a momentary ripple in the wall's texture. My work suffered, my focus shattered. Every incoming reel notification sent a jolt of terror through me. I watched my phone, terrified. As the designated hour approached, my breath hitched, the silent vibration. It was here. I picked it up. Instead of a blank screen, there was a single, black, unidentifiable icon, slowly pulsating on a dark background. No text, just the icon. My hand trembled as I stared at the pulsating icon. It was a simple shape, yet profoundly unsettling. A digital sigil. I looked up from my phone. Across the city skyline in a distant high-rise building, a single pulsating red light appeared. It mirrored the rhythm of the icon's pulse. It was drawing my gaze, a silent invitation, a beckoning from the vast, indifferent city. Was it a location? Or was it calling me to something else entirely? I felt a magnetic pull, a compulsion to follow the light, to understand. But a deeper, primal fear rooted me to the spot. I closed my eyes, trying to shut it out. But the pulse of the icon, the distant red light, were burned into my mind's eye. When I opened them, the icon on my phone had grown slightly. A subtle, almost imperceptible expansion, filling a fraction more of the screen. The air in my apartment felt thick, heavy with static electricity. My hair subtly stood on end. The minimalist decor seemed to vibrate. I tried to call for help, to text a friend, but my phone was unresponsive. Only the pulsating icon remained, unyielding. I threw my phone across the room. It hit the wall with a dull thud. For a moment, silence. My heart pounded in my ears. Then, from where the phone lay, a low electronic hum began. It grew, filling the apartment, vibrating through the floorboards. The screen of the thrown phone flickered back to life. The icon was now huge, dominating the display, pulsing violently. My vision started to blur at the edges, like pixelation. The familiar lines of my room began to waver, to glitch. I stumbled backward, horrified. The digital anomaly wasn't just on my phone, it was bleeding into my reality. My own skin felt like it was rippling, like a low-resolution image struggling to load. A terrifying sense of unreality. The apartment lights began to flicker wildly, strobing, revealing glimpses of a distorted, tearing reality around me. I covered my eyes, but the digital tears in the fabric of my world were visible even there, burning behind my eyelids. The electronic hum became a piercing screech, a high-pitched digital scream that tore at my eardrums. It was inside my head. My phone, still lying on the floor, now pulsed with a dark, swirling energy that began to spread outwards like an ink stain. The energy reached the wall, causing it to pixelate and distort into a swirling vortex of black and red, mirroring the phone's screen. I was now on my knees, hands over my ears, screaming, but no sound escaped my throat. The digital noise consumed all. My reflection in a nearby mirror showed my face, but it was corrupted. Pixels tearing at my features, stretching them into a grotesque mask. The pulsating icon on the phone screen was now a gaping maw, a void of pure digital hunger, pulling at everything. My blazer, once crisp, began to unravel at the edges, not into threads, but into shimmering pixels that dissolved into the air. I felt myself being pulled, drawn towards the swirling vortex on the wall, towards the digital abyss. A final, desperate scream formed on my lips, but it was silent, swallowed by the overwhelming digital noise. My eyes, wide and terrified, reflected the chaotic, swirling reds and blacks of the expanding digital entity. My body began to fragment, not into pieces of flesh, but into shimmering, disintegrating pixels. The digital face of the entity, a monstrous, screaming visage, briefly formed in the swirling vortex on the wall, its eyes glowing with malicious triumph. The last remnants of my physical form were consumed by the digital chaos, leaving only the sound of a final, tearing static. The phone screen, now completely black, silent, and dead. My own terrifying, distorted reflection staring back from its shattered surface. The only notification left. Here with us.